The Boy Who Found Magic, Part 2. Arkan returned to the castle as a 12-year-old, his heart light with the promise of a second year. But the warm, golden glow he remembered had shifted. The great hall was now draped in emerald green and shimmering silver, and a strange, biting chill hung in the air. Instead of the usual laughter, a heavy silence pressed against the stone walls, as if the castle itself were holding its breath, waiting for a secret to be told. The mystery deepened when Arkan found his friend Lyra standing in the corridor, her face pale. Beside her, a student stood perfectly still, mid-step, turned to cold, gray stone. "It's the echoes," Lyra whispered, her voice trembling. "They say an ancient magic has woken up in the foundations. It's freezing anyone who wanders too far alone." Arkan reached out to touch the frozen sleeve of the student, feeling a hum of silver energy that made his fingertips tingle. Professor Soren, a man with robes the color of a stormy sea, gathered the students. "The Chamber of Echoes has been disturbed," he warned, his voice grave. "Until we find the source, no one is to leave their common rooms. It is easier to stay safe and wait, but the legacy of our school is at stake." Arkan watched the professor's hands shake slightly as he held a silver compass that spun wildly, unable to find north in the magically charged air. That night, Arkan and Lyra sneaked into the restricted section of the library. They didn't want to break the rules, but loyalty to their frozen friends pushed them forward. "Look," Lyra hissed, pointing to a silver-inked book that hummed when they approached. It spoke of a hidden chamber beneath the snake statues in the lower dungeons. "Choosing what is right isn't always the same as following the rules," Arkan said, his resolve hardening like the stone around them. As they reached the entrance to the dungeons, Lyra hesitated. The darkness below was thick and smelled of ancient rain. "I'm scared, Arkan," she admitted. Arkan took her hand, a silent promise of loyalty. "We do this together, or not at all," he said. But as a low, rumbling echo shook the floor, they realized the path was narrow. Only one could fit through the shifting stone gears of the hidden door. Arkan stepped into the dark alone, his wand tip glowing with a steady, brave light. The stairs wound down deep into the belly of the earth, where the air was cold enough to turn his breath into silver mist. He felt a sudden surge of loneliness, wondering if he had made the right choice. But then, a soft rustle of feathers broke the silence, and a warmth began to radiate from the shadows above him. A magnificent bird with feathers the color of a dying ember fluttered down, landing on Arkan's shoulder. This was Fidus, the school's legendary guardian of the loyal. The bird's presence filled Arkan with a sudden, fierce courage. Fidus chirped a melodic note that seemed to push back the oppressive silence of the echoes. "You didn't let me come alone, did you?" Arkan whispered, stroking the bird's soft, warm head. They entered the Chamber of Echoes, a massive hall lined with towering snake statues carved from emerald-streaked stone. In the center of the room, a silver orb pulsed with a jagged, discordant light, trapping the voices and spirits of the school. The echoes were a physical weight, trying to pull Arkan to his knees. "I have to do this for them," he gasped, thinking of Lyra and the frozen students upstairs. Arkan raised his wand, not to attack, but to offer a counter-note of harmony. He whispered a spell of belonging, a magic fueled by the loyalty he felt for his house and his friends. The red bird, Fidus, let out a piercing, beautiful cry that joined Arkan's light. The silver orb began to glow white, the jagged edges smoothing out until the chamber was filled with a pure, resonant chime that shattered the curse. The gray stone skin fell away from the students in the hallways above, and the biting chill vanished from the great hall. Arkan returned to the surface, tired but triumphant, to find Lyra waiting at the dungeon door. Professor Soren stood behind her, his silver compass now pointing true. "You chose the hard path for the right reasons," the professor said. Arkan smiled, realizing that the greatest magic wasn't in the wand, but in the heart that refuses to leave a friend behind.